Join the rebellion and crush the Death Star in a giant 16-meg universe filled with all the action and adventure of the Star Wars finale. The command of 5 different characters from Wicket the Ewok to Princess Leia, and go up against the Empire's worst from Jabba the Hutt to the Emperor himself. This is it. You're going to need every ounce of force you've got in you. This is Star Wars, Super Star Wars even, Return of the Jedi from Sculptured Software, published by Victor Interactive Software, released in 1994. And apparently Jabba the Hutt works for the Empire. Who knew? This is the last and final of the Super Star Wars games released on the Super Nintendo, also available on the Game Boy and Game Gear. For some reason. Why anyone would put anything on the Game Gear is beyond me. Why you would put this on the Game Gear? Whew. So this follows the standard set by the previous two Super Star Wars games, with the return of selectable characters on specific levels, multiple playable characters, and Mode 7 quasi-3D vehicle sequences. The controls are identical. It has the predecessor's password save option, and it loosely follows the plot of Return of the Jedi with some added scenes, such as Luke Skywalker having to fight through the Death Star to get to Palpatine, in addition to the standard Luke, Han, Chewie, and Leia, and Wicket appear as playable characters. Bosses include Jabba the Hutt, the Rancor Beast, Darth Vader, and Emperor Palpatine. Vehicle sequences include the Endor speeder bike chase and a cruise in the Millennium Falcon. Skywalker no longer has the 9 force powers to work with, but with 5, and it is easier to recharge the abilities. No variation of blaster in the game for him. Leia is unique that her appearance and playstyle changes in accordance with the plot. She has her staff as the bounty hunter, a broken chain, and a blaster later on. In '96, THQ said they would re-release the trilogy, or at least 2 of the 3, in February of '97 in order to coincide with the special edition of the films. The re-release is identical to the original. On release, Scary Larry of GamePro gave it a mostly negative review, though he praised the musical score. He criticized the game for frustrating controls, overly easy bosses, and particularly the level designs, which he said are repetitious and most likely feel like retreads of the level designs from the previous 2 games. In contrast, EGM gave it an 8 out of 10, praising it for excellent graphics and the need to move carefully. Famicom Tsushin scored 23 out of 40. Kyle Coach at GamePro found some flaws in the Game Boy version, such as the rudimentary backgrounds, but rated it one of the year's most fun and challenging handheld games. He said the graphics on the Game Gear were nearly as good as the Super Nintendo version. So, I don't like these. Don't like any of these. I really don't like this one. The vehicle levels are so bizarre and difficult to control that I think starting this game out with one of those is a mistake. But it happened, so it's what you got to deal with. They all look good, and they all sound good. They just don't play good, and that has always been my critique with the Super Star Wars games. You have everything going for you except gameplay. And you gotta have that, especially in a platformer where you're going to require some of the kind of precise stuff that you have in this game.